Hello again, Eric Miller here, and this is video 2 of 2. So if somehow you started here instead of at video 1, I suggest going to video 1 first. This is going to be the detailed overview of the NLP machine learning intern documentation, and we will dive right in. Hope you have some coffee. And if you are as confused by the end of this as I am, then congratulations. I'll try to explain things the best of my knowledge, but again, there's still a lot to be learned, and probably I'm sure there's going to be some stuff that I'm wrong about along the way, but I will do my best. There's a lot more to this as I go along. Even wrapping this up, I found that I was wrong on some things. I tried to kind of throw that in there, but it's a pretty large scope and mile wide, mile deep. So with that being said, I'm not going to do, go into the overview of it. We're just going to go right into actual what was done. So PDF to DOCX, simple Python script. Prior to getting all of the DOCX over to a single CSV for the 9 weeks of internship reports. As you can see here, start here if the files are already in CSV format. Moving forward, they should be. So we're going to import the libraries. I hope that I have all of them in here. Like I said, I made some changes along the way, so we'll just go through if there are any issues along the way. Before I actually hand off the final documentation, I'll make those corrections. I've been working up to yesterday making changes and adjusting things, so we'll see as we go along here. So we'll run that. Let's see. Give it a second. With recording too, things are running a little slower. Yep, everything's already up to date. So now we're going to load the data that we have. This is all the internship data in a CSV file. So now that we have that loaded, we can check it. So we're going to grab just the top 3 rows, and that's going to be each student. So it looks like that's the same. Everything worked out well there. NA filter here, I had to add that at one point because it was giving a null value there, and that was throwing off some of the processes further on. So now we get into the pre-processing, cleaning the data, and as I go through, you can kind of see, look at the previous output and then kind of how it changes along the way. Again, thank you, Dr. Ruba, for suggesting that. Initially, I was just going through and running each script individually and hoping that it worked. I don't know why I didn't think about it, but checking the data frames along the way definitely helps troubleshoot and just kind of give you a good visualization of what's going on. So now we go to removing punctuation, special characters, using regex. So we're going to run that script. And now it's run. We're going to check the data frame again. And looks good. Then we're going to convert all of this to lowercase. So we run that script. Check it again. And you can see everything is now in lowercase. And again, this is just part of the process, getting it ready so that we can actually use it as input for the machine learning portion. So removing stop words, the, and, is, and we're gonna run that. And we're gonna check that. So if you look up here, let's just pick, so question 2, you've got, I gained a significantly better understanding. Then you come down here and we'll make sure it still gives, approximately the same output, but gain significantly better understanding. So you remove some of those unnecessary words that aren't going to be used for the machine learning portion. So run that. Still works well, that's good. Tokenization, lemmatization, I combine these functions. I found that worked best. Perhaps I'm wrong there, but that seemed to work. So you tokenize it. That's, again, kind of part of the process where you can see down here, it kind of puts them into their own little list here. And then the lemmatization, you can see in the notes here that I have, it's supposed to be more accurate than just stemming, because it should take into account the context and parts of speech, as opposed to just taking every single word and generically breaking it down into its root form. So sometimes you'll see that it's still going to maintain some of the originality of the word, as opposed to just completely stripping it down to its root form. And from my research, that's the intent is to kind of help with the machine learning, where it doesn't completely just strip everything down to root form and maybe lose some of the context behind it. So we'll run this script here, and then we're going to check it. And let's see here. Okay, good. So it just took a second, but we still got good output. And then we're going to join everything back together. So run that script. You can see how the output is here. And let's make sure this one's functional. So we're good there. I'm not going to save this because I already ran all of that. So I should already have this file saved. But then you're going to save it. So once you do all the pre-processing, you're going to save it. That way, once you break out of here, you don't lose all your progress to this point. So then we go into vectorization, also known as feature extraction. And this is where we're getting kind of into the realm of machine learning. There's different techniques that can be used. There's bag of words, TF-IDF, word embeddings. I kind of go through some of this here. If you want to read through that, you can. This is just my research, what I came up with. I think it was going to work best for our use case here. So using scikit-learn, we are going to run this script here, and then we'll check the output. And here we're going to take top 10 rows. It's not going to look like it means a whole lot. My understanding is it does. This is just, the human readable format that we have here. It's not going to look like a whole lot. So that maintains same. Data exploration prior to the application of machine learning techniques. So word cloud, applying that to all columns, will make sure that this is functional. That's going to take a quick second. And then you have all the different columns here. So go through those, each question. Again, that can be changed later. This is just how I had it run for now. Let's quick scroll back up and pick a question. So let's pick I think I had question 2 before. Let's do question 4. What challenges did you encounter this week, and how did you overcome or solve those challenges? So come down. All right. So user input. So that was question 4. So we're going to run that. Desired question number, we want 4. So we're going to run 4. Should generate the word cloud for that. And then you have the words here that are applicable to that. So real quick, I'll touch on this in speaking with Dr. Furstenberg. One of the big things that we can change along the way that's going to have a direct impact on how this entire process is applied in the output is the input. So if we go back up to those questions, these are pretty vague. And that's nothing against how these were written, but initially I think there was a different intent and goal behind that. If we get more specific with our questions, we'll get more specific answers, and in that we can kind of shape our output through our input. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially going forward. If there's new questions added, if these are adjusted, if you want to have more easily defined actionable items, then we can shape the students' input through the questioning that we give them, and hopefully that gives us a little better results in the end. So frequency distribution, I'll run this one. It's more so, at least to this point, my understanding, just to kind of get a quick overview. There's not necessarily a whole lot of actionable items that can be taken from this. This is kind of expected output that could be either removed or adjusted if somebody sees a better purpose for that. Keyword extraction, kind of the same idea. We're taking the top 5 keywords, and let's see how that one runs. We're just making sure. Yep, so same. Nothing's breaking so far, so that's good. Machine learning, I'm at 11 minutes here. I've got the free version of this running, so I'll try to condense this so we don't run out of time. This is, again, a mile wide, mile deep. There's a lot to this. I learned as I went along. The original scripts that I had, I thought it was my impression that what I was doing was part of the machine learning process, and in fact it wasn't. They were kind of predefined models, libraries, and it wasn't true machine learning. So I put that in some of my notes here. I gave some quick research notes, and this is just in the last couple weeks, to maybe give a little better idea of where somebody else can kind of move to from what I have here. But I'll still run this just to show you the output. So named entity recognition, this is from what I had. Let's see. Actually, that I did, I'm trying to remember. I think I actually did adjust the script, so this might be a little better output than before. It looks like we have a little better identification here. You still have things like this. Windows, Mac is a person. Could be, but in this case it's not. So again, this stuff can be adjusted as you go along, potentially completely rewritten. Topic modeling, this uses LDA. I believe this is one. Yes, I have 2. So we'll run the first one, see what changes in the second. I haven't even run the second one yet. So there's an index error here. So I'll try to go back through and see if I can fix this. It could be just because of the changes that I made. Let's run the second. Yeah, so I'll go through and I'll see what I can adjust for these topic modeling scripts, and that could be, like I said, I was trying to make that perform better, and as usual there's some errors here, but that's part of the process. Sentiment analysis, this should work fine. Cross our fingers. Yep. So it is working. I'm running down to the last few seconds here before it's going to cut me off. So just real quick on here, one of the things I haven't adjusted yet and can definitely be done, you see the student's name and the question. What I forgot to take into account here is if you want to go back through and pick the specific question and answer to see if this is an appropriate response, is the week. So this student, this question, which week is it from? Aside from counting and assuming that this is week 1, it may be, may not be. So that can be adjusted as well. That's all I have. There's a lot more that can be done to it, but again, thank you, and hopefully this works out for whoever takes over from here. Thanks again.